Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of Triggered. I'm your host, Zachary Clark, and you all know my co-host, Adam Furman. Adam, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, I am doing good. It's been I didn't see you since last year. We didn't see you.
Happy holidays. Happy holidays. It's already 2024. There's a presidential election this year. Happy Honda Days! Are you a Honda Days celebrator, or are you one of those Toyota-thon people?
Neither.
Oh my gosh. Got a really good show for you tonight.
I am Chrysler's owner, always shifty and running away and trying to offload this hot potato.
You see, well, I didn't know that you also celebrated Hanukkah.
Killing me.
We got a really good show for you folks tonight, so sit back, relax, get yourself an ice cold beverage, and let's get into the show. The show where we're coming to you live from the ancient Roman aqueducts. The ancient Roman aqueduct towers above us, stone upon stone, impossible, balanced like some artifact of the distant future, but in present day and ancient in time. How did they build it? We may never know. All we know is that we can't do it today. We just don't know how to do it.
And there was not too long ago, wasn't there like Roman concrete or something?
Yes.
That they only discovered how. So there's some truth to that.
Yeah. You lost technologies regularly come across. They still there's no consensus on how the pyramids were built.
Or Greek fire too, right? That's the thing. Like, oh, we don't know.
Who's to say?
You know what we can't do? You cruise missile.
I don't know. I think a lot of it's probably fake stuff. Like, they just don't know how to do it anymore, but they really do, and it's just the people that are saying that are idiots, and they don't know anything. We knew what the secret of Roman concrete was, like, in the 18th century, but
I don't know.
rediscovered, never forgotten. It just became too expensive and burdensome
No,
with
I don't know.
the lower bureaucracy and less resources when the Roman Empire fell to make it a
There's
worthwhile endeavor to produce it any longer.
Trojan War. That's 100% completely fake. There's no such thing as Troy either. Oops.
Boop, 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 boop. Breaking news, we've found the location of the ancient site of the Trojan War in the city of Ilium in Troy. Call your mother and see if she's heard the news. Boop, 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 boop. But yeah, I don't know. I earnestly don't know what people
Another
are
name.
on about most of the time.
Poland is completely destroyed.
You know what? You know what I do know, though, Adam. You know what I'm talking about.
Do you have a 5-gallon bucket? Your face says you do.
You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that scatter radio. Scatter radio. Scatter radio.
I can't wait for you to do an R&B rendition.
All right, 5'10" Jersey. There was a mob of black females swinging baseball bats.
What?
January 1st, 2:53 a.m. People out partying, getting rowdy on amateur hour. That's what the guy I worked with.
Fight, guys.
Fight season, it was over a long time ago. However, the mildness of this winter, I'm surprised. I'm surprised there's not more incidences. I wouldn't be shocked, but I would be shocked if I was just taking a walk, watching the fireworks, taking in the refreshing early morning air of the new year, and I came across a mob of black females swinging baseball bats. I'd be like, oh my gosh! It's something you don't see every day.
Hey, are they just swinging them, or are they like hitting people with them, or hitting?
Calm down. Calm down.
Base?
It's just a bunch of swingers enjoying the night out. Because they're swinging bats.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh,
Same joke.
sounds like someone's windshield got busted. They're getting real rowdy.
Okay, so what's destruction?
Destruction, yeah, destruction, yeah, destruction, yeah, like the mouth of a pit bull. Destruction, yeah, destruction, yeah, destruction, yeah, like the jaws of a vicious beast. That is two pit bulls attacking a 70-year-old lady at Holtz Expressway trailer park today at around 1:25 p.m. Lots of damage and blood. 911 called.
I cannot believe you. You're outrageous.
I hope the dogs were handled.
Oh, jeez. They're gonna be handled all right.
What I say is, I hope that the owners were hanged. I have no patience with
It was first degree and second degree.
suffering. Reckless murder? That's not allowed. I was specifically instructed by my knowledgeable professor that murder was always intentional. Recklessness never formed the basis for a murder charge. Manslaughter, yes. Never murder. Anyway, other than reliving my trauma, I don't have any patience for the pit bull question. I'm not a prohibitionist. I don't think you should ban dogs. But I think that you should hang owners if their dogs attack somebody and they have a pit bull. So you take your life into your own hand. Yeah. I'm a pit mommy. I love my pit mommy. No bad dogs, only bad dog owners. Oh no, my pit bull Betsy ripped the face off of a 5-year-old. Whoops, I'm sorry. Now you have to be hanged.
That happens.
Yeah, now you have to be hanged next to your dog. Your dog will be hanged next to you. They will both be hanged from the same gallows. But I don't know why. You're like, you were warned. That's the law. Hey, this is what it takes. No one wants to do what it takes to live in a functioning society we're in. Like, I saw a statistic the other day, and it's like 1% of violent criminals commit like 80% of all violent crime or something like this.
Yeah, you could. It's Pareto rule to the extreme.
If you arrested and took care of people after the first violent crime would be reduced based on recidivism by like 90%.
Exactly.
And I say it only takes one. Whoops. Hanged. And everybody goes on about their day. And that's the price. That's the price you pay for being a violent offender. I don't know.
I was forced to read the scholarly work in my undergrad regarding public hangings in the 18th century and the 19th century. And it was a spectacle. You went out and you watched the thief get hanged.
Well, a thief, that's not even a violent offender. But I agree 100%.
I was going to say it's a horse thief, you know. Horse thief hanged.
Cattle rustler. Hanged. Make sure you get your right guy. That's why focusing on that part of the criminal justice system, I think, is the most important piece. Because I don't think anybody cares until recently in my observations of the human state. Cared when bad guys went to prison or got killed or whatever. They were up to no good. They deserved whatever they got, whatever the consequences were. Boom. And you sure are in trouble. People in the criminal justice system are being put into prison for 20 years on bogus, trumped-up charges. Coerced confessions. Tortured out of them by corrupt police officers. Trying to get closure rates up or whatever they were doing.
Exactly.
And so now you called into question the entire criminal justice system, and it's worse because these stories all happen to come out to talk about how this is happening to mostly just blacks. So it's racist too. The system, corrupt, racist, imprisoning these black men for no reason at all. Tear the whole thing down. We can't imprison anybody anymore, and we can't even arrest them for violent crimes. Wait, they've committed 13?
You catch them in the act on video with plenty of witnesses.
Yeah. And this is like, oh, he shoved a lady under the subway tracks? I don't know. No bail for that one. He's got a mental instability. Why are we letting people with mental instabilities out on the road? Hey, you shut up. That's racist. You're not being equitable with our, well, I don't even know what we're doing anymore. It just doesn't exist. But at the same time, we can sentence the January 6th rebels, seditionists, with up to 840 years of prison time collectively. Wherein the only person killed was a lady shot by the police in the neck. Unarmed lady. Don't worry about that. She was a violent insurrectionist.
And the only guy who actually fired his, to my knowledge, the only guy who fired his service weapon during that day.
Yeah. None of the protests. I didn't see any stories. There was one going around where a group had arranged for guns to be available. There was a cache, but none of the protesters that I'm aware of were armed with guns or brandished or used them in any way during the January 6th incident, which the anniversary of is tomorrow.
Different than all the other insurrections that I can recall, where there was actually armed people taking over the actual building of government and either holding the people, the government official, as a gunpoint. Right?
Yeah, no, I don't know anything about that. I don't know, Adam. I think that sounds like some Jan 6 apologism.
Okay.
I just know that the righteous justice that was rained down upon them, as spoken by our glorious leader.
One desperate act available to him: the violence of January the 6th. And since that day, more than 1,200 people have been charged for their assault on the Capitol. Nearly 900 of them have been convicted or pled guilty. Collectively, to date, they have been sentenced to more than 840 years in prison. What's Trump?
I just need to pause here.
Who's applauding?
White House staffers invited to this meeting. But I just have to say, I just have to pause here. You got me off track to venerate our glorious leader in his noble speech. And I hope that none of you missed it, that over 1,000 people have been prosecuted and sentenced collectively to over 840 years in prison. Over 900 convictions. That's a 90+% conviction rate. On January 6 insurrectionists, wherein one person was killed and it was an insurrectionist. And I want you to think about mobs of black women swinging baseball bats on city blocks and homeless encampments, muggings and street crime, burglaries, murders that go unsolved every day. And just know that that's how important Jan 6 is.
Yeah, Zach, something that I continue to remember until I forget, magically, maybe someday. And you might remember this, you may have forgotten magically, but in the summer of 2020, in a small town in Wisconsin, there were FBI drones monitoring and surveilling the riots and the crimes that were occurring.
It sounds like a local state matter to me. FBI shouldn't have been involved in that anyway. What you really got to think about is when that federal courthouse was burnt in Portland, Oregon, and they arrested no one. And that was during the Trump administration. Adam, I don't know what you're getting at, but it sounds like you might be trying to indicate that there isn't a functioning criminal justice system, but there is a system wherein people's political opponents are punished as severely as possible, while those that they are allied. And I mean, this is America. That would just never happen.
No. But, yeah.
Done. Instead of calling them criminals, he's called these insurrectionists patriots.
Silver-tongued.
They're patriots. And he promised to pardon them if he returns to office. Trump said that there was a lot of love on January the 6th. The rest of the nation, including law enforcement, saw a lot of hate and violence.
Oh, the poor law enforcement seeing hate. I didn't know Biden was a thin...
Poor law enforcement. Woman.
Biden, a strong supporter of the thin blue line. All of a sudden. Disgusting. That's okay,
That's exactly the but it's important to understand, Adam, that these people deserve it. That these insurrectionists, on their own, without any antagonizing by anyone other than the former president of the United States, who led this insurrection, marched down the street and enticed them all to violence and rebellion. Rebellion as defined under the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution, precluding him from serving in office, but we'll get to that. He was the only federal official involved in promoting this. Horrifying. oh, no. I know where you're going with this, Mr. Jones.
What? Mr. Jones, I'm talking about Ray Epps. They got him, Adam. They got Ray Epps. Convicted him. He, in fact, pled guilty with the terms of a deal. That's right. This Revolver News. Is this? This is just the pic. No, that's linked to the case, to the article. Yes, they got him. They said people were trying to say that this Ray Epps character was a federal plant, some sort of confidential informant working with the government to instigate a revolt, to trap and trick people into going into the Capitol building, wherein they would then harshly punish them and throw every crime in the way. Maybe sentencing 900 plus of them to collectively over 800 years in prison. But no, they got him. They got this guy. He was a criminal. That's right. Earlier this week, the Department of Justice charged infamous Fedsurrection provocateur Ray Epps with a single misdemeanor account, disorderly conduct.
Jeez.
Ray Epps, who was on video inciting crowds to enter the Capitol building many times, was on film saying he was
many times. People were even pointing at him saying, "Fed, Fed, Fed."
He was on camera suggesting that they would be storming the Capitol, and that was his whole purpose of being in Washington. Ray Epps, who was on camera at the barricades when they were breached, was on camera in the Capitol property that was off limits, wherein people who have also been similarly found have been sentenced to years in prison. Ray Epps, who's been credibly accused of being a confidential informant or otherwise working in tandem with federal law enforcement, has been cleared of that accusation by this devastating indictment of one misdemeanor count of disorderly conduct wherein he will likely serve 0 time in jail. I guess they won't get to add his jail time to that 840 years the president was lauding but a moment ago. Oh, but we're getting close, Adam. You don't have to worry. If this keeps going this way, you know how things never happen? Something's going to happen.
Yeah, they never do. Have you seen the newest season of the show? How's the sports ball going?
Oh, in line with this, and as we have discussed, and as everyone here plainly knows, the president and anybody who ever said anything counter to the narrative and the congressional investigation into January 6th is not just unpatriotic hater of America, but they're literally rebels against the United States of America, according to the Constitution of the United States, preventing them from running or holding office in this great nation. That's right. Not only, I'm sure you've heard that at least 2 states have taken action to exclude Trump from being able to appear on ballots, but what you may not know is that the left-wing Democrats in this country have mobilized under this rallying cry to work for the Disc 126 of their political opponents. Yes, in order to save democracy from these rebel scum, we will prevent them from running in elections. Checkmate.
In order to save democracy, you must abolish it. In order to save the village, you must burn it down.
Good thing I brought my bottle of whiskey on the show tonight. I want that to sink in for a second. I don't know that this has ever happened before in the history of our country. And the brazen nature of these things, while at the same time decrying their opponents as the enemies of democracy, and then to not try to win an election, which should be easy, if what you're saying is that there's no way a democratic process would elect these monsters. You say, we can't risk it. We can't risk the people choosing one of them.
Yeah, the people can choose wrong. We must eliminate that wrong choice.
That is exactly right. They look you in the eye and they say, I'm sorry, but you, the people, the popularly sovereign members of this nation, the ones with the power, the ones who formed this country, who create the justification for the existence of the government, might choose wrong, and we can't risk you having free choice. So we're for your own good. Make that choice for you. And I don't know if you know this, but that pretty much is at the heart of the entire left-wing agenda in this country for like decades now. You would choose wrong. We need to choose for you how to spend your money, how to effectively address poverty and hunger in your communities, child abuse and neglect, everything. Education of your children. No, not even the state level. I'm not even talking.
You don't know anything about education.
It's not the
You
local
don't know
level.
teach your child anything.
It's not the county level. It's not the regional level. It's not the statewide level. It has to be dictated from the centralized federal government. That's the only way that we can make sure that you guys aren't making bad choices in educating your own children. Public school elimination? No. Vouchers? That's evil. Homeschool should be illegal. We should force all children to go into the camps.
Europe, they're so forward thinking they've banned homeschool in private schools. It's all public education. Didn't you know?
Yeah.
They're so forward thinking.
There's not enough rope. Not enough rope for all
But
of
is
them.
there tar?
Huh?
Is there enough tar and feathers?
No, not nearly enough. Not nearly enough. We need even more of that than we need a rope. But it's fine, because we've got a powerful opposition movement growing to Joe Biden's Democrats, including Nikki Haley. And speaking of schools, she's got bold plans for how to keep your kids safe in these dangerous times. We got to secure them. I agree, Nikki. Secure those schools. Make them safe for our kids. We got to secure them this... Wait.
Hold prisons than what they already are.
Hold on. We have to secure them the same way we secure our airports.
Oh, gosh, no. What a joke.
We need a TSA at every grade school in the country.
Some schmuck taking out a can of Planters mixed nuts, asking the kid, "What's this?" "It's my lunch." "No, it's not. You're gonna eat mixed nuts for lunch." "Well, it's my snack. I mean, I'm gonna have it with my lunch." "Oh, dude,
You're only allowed to eat government-approved Soylent lunches.
This is more than the 3 ounces allowed for legumes."
Besides that, peanuts are a major allergy contributor. They aren't allowed in schools.
"Oh my gosh, you wanted to kill your classmates."
Arrest him! Take him away! I just wanted some peanuts for a snack.
It's a cheap snack that has protein.
You sicking me? You're sick. You're sick. Get him out of my face.
Throw him in the padded cell that we still keep around from the 40s. Oh man, I ran out of all my drinks.
That was a mistake. I knew better. For tonight.
I ran out of my uncle, ran out of my ration. There's this aloe plant I could eat.
Oh. Well, at least there's, a lot of people, it's so refreshing on my burns. It soothes. Oh.
This is my ulcers.
You might not know this, Adam. You might not know this.
I don't.
But there is a bunch of people that are running for president of the United States as Republicans. Not just Nikki Haley. No, not just Nikki Haley. And not just the front runner who pulls ahead of the incumbent president, Donald Trump. Who is being systematic. Who is systematic.
Who is literally the front runner of the opposition party and consistently polls ahead of the current incumbent. Okay, the current president, I guess. Current incumbent.
Yeah, the multiple indicted, being removed from the presidential ballots, Donald Trump, who is trying to be.
Like, hey, 5 years ago, it seems a lot better than what it was now. Like a different world, Zach.
Yep. Besides him, who obviously isn't allowed to be president, and we're going to do whatever it takes, including by excluding him from being able to appear on the ballot. This definitely isn't a recipe for some very fun times. There's others too, not just.
All you need to do is vote harder. You just need to make sure that you vote harder than you did last time.
I can't even vote. My guy wasn't on the ballot. He was excluded because they said he was in rebellion against the United States of America somehow. I'm not joking. That's what they say. How could I vote harder?
That guy, he was kicked off of Twitter. That's why he was excluded.
Yep. So voting is no longer an option for me, Adam. What do I do when I can't vote anymore? Hey, guys, did you hear that? Quick, ban assault weapons. Why is there suddenly a strong push to ban assault weapons that kill maybe 36 people a year?
Yes.
What could they be used for that isn't that? Puzzle.
Wait. What? The workers have said that they will not prosecute based off of these laws? What is going on?
Very curious.
Almost throughout the entire state, they've said that they're not going to follow this law. Oh, they can't. Can they do that?
It's difficult to understand what these events portents could mean.
And even if they did, they couldn't stand up to the caveman couldn't defeat a F-16. The caveman fortified for 1,000 years could not garrisoned in the town could not defeat an F-16.
Yeah, they just have to carpet bomb the whole place, destroying the place to save it. I think that might be a theme for what's happening here. Oh, spicy times ahead. They have time to step back from the brink, Adam, but I don't know if they're smart enough to do it. I think they.
I've heard that there's also a competency crisis going on, so it's actually like dumb.
It'll never happen. Well, they always say
the dictators could have had this accomplished fairly well, but we're just
nothing ever happens. I read that on the internet a million times. We can push this as far as we want. Sir, I think that's just a meme. You shut up. I've never read anything fake on the internet that I didn't say But there is another man.
We got those suitcases full of ballots still, right? Yeah, okay. So shut up and do as yourself.
The problem is that we're not voting hard enough for the right guy. I love the way that Vivek Ramaswamy, yes, that's right, Vivek Ramaswamy, a first-generation Indian immigrant, handles regime media like a boss. NBC News reporter Dasha Burns has a meltdown as Vivek shreds her scripted reality.
Last night for a moment, because when you were talking to reporters last night, you called white supremacy a myth. When someone asked you about Dylan Roof, you said you didn't know who that is. Have you looked up what happened in 2015?
Yeah, look, I said this last night. Invidious racial discrimination is wrong no matter how it happens. But if a Washington Post reporter is asking me almost like a catechism whatever question I said, I'm against invidious racial discrimination, whatever form it takes, but says, do you denounce white supremacy? It's incumbent on us for us to define what white supremacy is. And I wrote my book.
Yes, I denounce him. I denounce him in all of his works.
It's so no, Zach. It's so good too because there's it's such a great metaphor because those of us who are religious or even those who are not religious but know what a catechism is understand this reference and that in naming this interrogation as a sort of catechism answer, question and answer, understand that what he's getting at is that this leftism race stuff that they brought up is a literal religion. So it's at least two layers. It's a good response.
Yeah, and he needed to do it because they were framing it as a gotcha. They didn't know the Dylan Roof situation and what happened. And he's like, listen, I love you all, but I'm not going to memorize every race grievance that happens in the country and recite it back to you.
I actually thought, I heard it later who it was, but I thought it was like one of the Columbine guys.
It does sound familiar. What were their names? I don't want to actually say it on the air because that's how they win.
No, he was a different. That one that he cited was a different thing because of
yes.
how.
But yeah, you were right. One of them does have that name.
Wait, what?
One of the shooters has that name. And the Dylan Roof guy is also a shooter. He did the Charleston.
Yes. Oh, okay. I said. So what you're saying is that Dylan. There's two Dylans.
Yes. The other Dylan, another Dylan, did the Columbine.
Yes. Okay. All right. For a moment, I'm like.
I think what we're learning here tonight is that you should never name your child Dylan. Be very careful out there. Only you are to blame, parents. What if I just make it his middle name? That was his pappy's name.
No, he's going by that as his first name. My name's Aiden, but call me Dylan. Oh
no. But back to Vivek.
Yes.
Book Woke Inc., and I've written about the detailed understanding of what the popular understanding of these terms have come to mean. Do you believe punctuality is a vestige of white supremacy, Dasha?
Look,
because if you don't, then you have a disagreement about many of the people who are defining those terms, or the written word, or the use, or the nuclear family. These aren't my words. These are the words of intellectual proponents from Ibram Kendi to the Ayanna Presleys to BLM.
Answer the question, Dasha.
That have said these are vestiges of white supremacy. So
Mr.
we can't have it both ways.
What you do, though.
We have to have
You
an
choose-
honest
you choose
discussion.
Straw man arguments.
This is not a straw man.
Dasha doesn't even know what a straw man is.
No. Completely. You think you hate journalists?
Not a straw
Jussie
man.
Smollett as the best
Jussie
example
Smollett
of white
was the hottest thing in
supremacy.
news in the back of a fake actual attack on him that we have to contend with.
And yet you have
Look at the
examples like the
federal law
Buffalo
enforcement's
shooter
data.
in New York just in
Cherry-picked.
2022.
You have other
but
examples.
you are also cherry picking when you bring up Jussie
So
Smollett.
I'll look at all of the statistics. More black on black
Absolutely.
crime. If we really care about actual crime against black Americans, let's get to the root causes of it in the inner cities of this
Look,
country.
the Anti-Defamation League tracked a 38% increase in white supremacist propaganda last year.
Who's tracking that?
The Anti-Defamation League.
Yeah, the ADL, I don't think is a particularly credible source
So
when
who
they
are
have
we
a
supposed to
cherry-picked
look to
information.
when we're talking about...
Just roasting them.
Oh my gosh. That's what you have. That's what you have to do. You cannot accept their premises. You cannot accept their presuppositions. You just can't.
Who are these people? Nadio? Really?
I don't care about them. Who? I've never heard of them before.
uh,
Are they important?
so Vivek is the only one other than Trump that seems to have captured the zeitgeist, because he's actually like, I am aware of things that exist and it's horrible, and everybody else is like, it's 1998 and I am running for president of the United States.
Israel is the only democracy in the Middle East.
And I don't know. I think it's difficult for for Dasha here, who's on the screen right now, to indict this guy of being a racist somehow. I don't think it's sticking. How's this? How's this?
That's a good thing, because I mean, I don't know whether or not he's sincere, he believes these things, whatever. If he has and to the extent that whatever, maybe that's not even the duty of a politician. The duty of a politician is to enact the will of the people. So even if he doesn't believe these things, so what if he follows through with what the people believe and what the people want him to? He is acting as those people. And so, I mean, there's that as well. I've seen that. People are like, oh, whatever. 20 years ago, he was not anywhere near this. And I'm like, okay. 20 years ago, I was playing video games, eating a bunch of Cheetos, and also a bunch of pizza and hot dogs and chicken breasts, all in a meal, and still underweight. So, like, people change.
Yeah. So I think you have two wings, I'd say, in conservatism right now. Two right-wing alternatives to the institutions of the current administration. You have the standard politician guys, the lizard people that have run the country for my entire life, that are
you can count on
me. Yeah, exactly. I was about to reference Mr. DeSantis and Nikki Haley. And then you have the people that are like, these people on the left are insane and I'm not going to pretend anymore. This country is broken and these are the symptoms and the causes, and I'm going to tell them to you. And it's going to sound weird because people don't talk like this in politics. And those people are Vivek Ramaswamy, who I believe isn't sincere but is miming this for political gain because it has been proven on the test bed of Donald Trump to be effective and resonate with people. And the master of it, Donald Trump.
Whoa. Okay, hold on. You got a graph there. What's that about, Chief?
This is the latest 538 polling of polls data nationwide leading up to the election. And the purple here is Donald Trump. After people got a look at Ron DeSantis, oh no, he's just really not as impressive as the memes on TV are. And then, so you have Donald Trump that's pulling in like over 60% in a field of, I think.
Is this just, I can't really see, is this just a Republican?
Yes, it's just the Republicans. And so,
is this graph 0 to 100?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Are you for real?
Yes.
Oh, dude.
So you have basically a one-way race. Nobody else is even close. Trump hasn't even participated in any debates or anything.
Well, okay, right, dude. You know this. As soon as 2021 rolled around, right? Jan 6 happens, whatever. The inauguration of Biden happens, whatever. Immediately, I see signs. I never see Trump signs taken down. And then the next time I see it is Trump signs replaced for 2020 with "Keep America Great Again." Now it's back to I feel like they changed it, but I see 2024 again. I never saw Trump signs taken down at all.
That's true. For a lot of Trump supporters, and especially after 2020, because for whatever reason, and I can't explain it myself, it's difficult to understand how anybody would have this feeling, and I certainly don't have it. But they felt like the election wasn't fair and open, and then he was the actual winner of that election.
Oh man, you're right. I don't personally feel that, but some would say that it looked.
It looks suspicious, they said.
Suspicious. That's what they said. They pointed to graphs in certain Midwestern states.
Yeah, and all of the last minute changes premised on coronavirus restrictions.
That's right. Wait, wasn't there something in Wisconsin too about the Supreme Court deciding? Was it just that, or was it other states where they mentioned about last minute changes to the voting?
Was it legal? Yeah. No, those changes were illegal. They violated the Constitution. Don't worry about that. We're not talking about 2020. That's long gone. He lost the election because he's not in office right now. That's what that means. But you have essentially a three-way race.
No, back to the beginning of the episode, though. Wait a second. If there were these illegal changes, and we can't determine if that was, or we can determine if those changes did affect the election outcome, then the people who visited, who went to D.C. in support of the person who, turns out, was robbed.
That didn't have an impact on the election. Don't worry about it. Even if those processes were illegal, those changes didn't have an impact. There is not any evidence of widespread ballot harvesting or other illegal acts that were conducted and made easier by those changes, that we have proof that they were actually done, that those practices in any way impacted the outcome of the election. Not enough votes to sway it, I'd say, and we're not going to count to find out or look into it.
And if you do try to look into it, we will prosecute you for invasions of privacy and government security and national security.
You might even be an insurrectionist rebel who will never be able to run for political office. Do you want to be on the inside, working inside the regime to enact your reforms that you're so passionate about, or do you want to be a criminal, excluded from the process and imprisoned? Think about that before you talk to the press.
Zach, I can't see this graph. What's the start date and what's the latest on the x-axis?
All right.
The beginning?
It starts in looks like January, and probably the beginning of 2023, and it goes to current day.
Oh my gosh, are you for real?
Yeah.
Why are they even holding debates?
Because everybody agrees that Donald Trump isn't allowed to be president if you are in the regime. So one of the other people, yes, these ones right here in the bottom, have to run against Joe Biden. If you think about it like I framed it, where you have the Trumpist position and rhetoric embodied in Vivek and Donald here, and you have the established traditional politician types embodied in DeSantis and Haley. And I don't count Chris Christie and Asa Hutchinson as being alive and at this time.
Okay, I didn't even know they were in it. I mean, like, seriously, I didn't know of anyone participating other than Vivek, Trump, and Haley.
Yeah.
Pence dropped out.
Yeah, let's say that Haley drops out at some point and DeSantis gets all of her votes. He would still only have 23% of the votes, and that would put him right about here.
Wild.
And so this is normie politician support in the Republican Party. And this Trump, and then you assume he gets Vivek, if Vivek left. This is everybody else. And they, at this point in time, have seen all this stuff. They've seen everything that we've seen and talked about today. And they say, if you aren't talking about hangings, then you aren't the guy for me. And that's six. I'm gonna say 65-ish, 66, 2/3 of half of the entire country would like to see heads roll, to see Donald Trump or somebody go in there and start going solo mode and prescribing all of the enemies of America. Which is what I say when I say that things are going to get real fun. I think that this is mostly driven by the criminal indictments, the legal actions to remove Trump from being able to participate, the continued Biden speeches about sentencing Jan 6 protesters to 840 years in prison, and then they say, guess what? There's only one answer. It's we're going to elect Donald Trump again. And if they do something that says, for whatever reason, Donald Trump isn't the president after we vote him into office, well, anyway, I'll leave that to your imaginations, because I kind of do secretly want to have confidential FBI informants contact me and offer me firearms.
He's like, well, technically these things are illegal in Illinois, so you can't actually.
Yeah, I know. I understand that.
But if you want to give me pump action or bolt action, I'm fine with that as a gift. Yes, but you also have to do bad things. Well, I don't really want to do the bad thing, but I'll take the free guns.
I would make it very ambiguous about what the bad thing even was. I would never say yes or no. And then when I got my guns, I would no longer talk to them and pretend I didn't know who they were. Who are you? I gave you man. I don't know what you're talking about. Who is this? New phone. Who this?
Who's this? Pastor, I gotta confess, I have been having an affair with Jim. Oh my gosh, who's this guy? Here's his contact information. Pastor, please contact him. I want to rectify this and I want to make this good. This is my confession. And then they will soon be like, no, new phone, who this? This is Pastor Dale.
I do promise that if the FBI, if I ever get some secret FBI investigation against me or anybody approaches me, I will be sure to let everybody on the show know. I'll give you screen caps. It'll be great. They'll be dragging me out of here. And I'll be like, remember what I told you. All 5 of you must remember my name.
Oh man, that's so sad. I think of that guy who was that girl, the girl FBI agent who was like, "No, you need to do these bad things," and he's like, "No, I'm just gonna end it. I'm so depressed." And she's like, "No, you need to." And others, he's like, "No, I don't want to do that." He's like, "Those people would be innocent. I just want to end it all." And she's like, "You mean end it all as in others?" No, I don't want to do that.
Every time. I know what's happening. Jane, I know that you really work for the FBI. I know. The only reason I kept this going is because it was nice to have a person to talk to for once in my life.
Jane, are you buying me that? No. I told you before, Illinois. I can't own these other things.
I would really like a bold action Springfield 1908 rifle, please.
Wait, can you? Does it come with Does it come with a stamp that says it was serviced in World War One? It was done in World War One. It was used in World War One. Yes. All right, good.
I need my M1 Garand, please, before I can complete the mission. This is an authentic World War II one, right? Made by the Springfield Armory. I don't want one of those others. Excellent.
Immediately, this was into trust for my my child.
Oh, love it.
Certified with by the Illinois Historical Society of Veterans or whatever. Oh.
All right, Adam. I gotta get back on track. Oh, you haven't even talked about the show intro piece.
250 bucks.
I'm also gonna need about 1,000 rounds. 1,000 rounds, please.
I'm a bad shot. Zach, I got the 1,000 rounds. These are obviously replica. These are what's the term for it? It's like when they do the shots again.
Reloaded? Reloads?
No, because there's a market for like the actual original ones that were manufactured in like World War II.
Are you talking about reproductions? They still manufacture 30-06 rounds, unlike your 8mm Mauser or whatever.
Whatever, but there's also like there's the purists and the people who I'm not gonna get down into this, but they're like, no, technically you need the ones made in this town in Austria for it. And I'm like, all right, I don't think you really do, but okay. Informant, get me these things.
Yeah, it wasn't cycling that last 1,000 rounds you got me very well, so I'm going to need you to get me the premium brand 30-06 ammunition. All right, before we get too far down the road, the show is coming to a close, and we haven't even talked about, can we build it? Can we reconstruct it, Adam? No,
those are obviously built by the
Nephilim, placed by giants.
No, wait, we call them aliens.
Pre-Diluvian times. competent elites would not have allowed the COVID kabuki to go on for 2 to 3 years either. That's why I don't buy most conspiracy theories, whatever truth they might contain. They just give the powers to be too much credit. To which Brian Niemeyer replies, after the fall of the Roman Empire, belief spread that the aqueducts must have been made by the gods themselves because the people could no longer build them. At the fall of the American Empire, we're seeing similar loss of competence, fostering analogous folklore about the moon landing. They don't have records. We can't do it. That's an apt analogy, and it's not just the moon landing. It's hard to count the number of things that we used to do that we cannot do anymore. Or the pyramids being built by aliens. Nods. Oh, but it's true. It's true. But this sort of thing that people observe and point out about present day in history, it wasn't limited to just great works of engineering, Adam. And it's important to realize that in modern day, in the current media environment, and you must remember this, if nothing else, that a single image of the Mr. Ed TV show is more powerful than entire seasons of television made today. Look at these masterpieces.
It's true.
Look at him. Look at Mr. Ed. He's surfing. Talking to himself in the mirror. With a play horse calendar.
I noticed the play horse.
Oh, he's a very bad horse. I disagree, Mr. Ed. You're a very good horse. But we had this my father-in-law is a TV animal trainer. Oh. Maybe he has insight about Mr. Ed. We were watching Mr. Ed together years ago, and I asked him, what would it cost to get a horse to talk today? I'll never forget his answer. We can't. We don't know how to do it anymore. Lost to time. Lost to the ages. The ability to make a horse talk on TV. Gone like tears in rain. R.I.P. And even if they knew, there are animal abuse laws in place now. Not sure giving a horse peanut butter is abuse.
It's not.
It's important to realize that horses only eat peanut butter when they're very distressed. So. But it's spawned a meme, and it's someone says something about, look at this cool thing. It's like, I talked to my brother. He is a aerospace engineer, and I asked him what it would take to be able to go back to the moon. I'll never forget his answer. He just says, we can't do it. We don't know how to do it anymore. I'll never forget that. In the meantime, Elon's basically in his multi-billion-dollar garage making rockets and launching them into the space, and will send them to the moon in like 5 years or something like this.
Right. Did he launch the second rendition of the Starliner?
The Starship, yeah. It went up with the booster on it. It was amazing.
Because the first one, it exploded, which they anticipated exploding.
It's intentional detonation. They have charges placed in it to blow it up.
Right.
They're just testing the launch platform and the engines and stuff like that.
Right. And the first time it happened, it got a lot farther than what they were intending.
They pushed it further. Like within mission parameters. You have, this is what we expect to happen, and this is what we think is going to go on, but we can have it go like this far before we need to blow it up, before we don't know what's going to happen because we didn't plan that out, and it could land on somebody's ranch or whatever.
No, exactly.
All right. Adam, it's been a good show, but we are over time, and it's time to wrap up with our High School Fact of the Week, coming to you straight from Ice-T himself. People will play both sides. That's why my talks are brief, my visits are limited, and my moves are silent. Ice School Fact.
Silent but deadly.
Just like if you walk into my office after bean lunch today. And that's our show, folks. We really hope you enjoyed it.
From the gas station.
And if you did, smash like, subscribe, and share this video with every single one of your friends. If you'd like to follow... What?
Especially those patriots.
Yes. If you'd like to follow us on social media, our handles are on the screen. Adam, did you have anything that you would like to add here at the end of the show today?
I do not. No.
Anything about Tom Bombadil being great?
No, I do not have anything to add right now.
Anything about Tom Bombadil and Goldsberry being Adam and Eve if they had not fallen, and we'll take no questions about it at this time?
Well, that's an interesting hypothesis, but no. He did mention that he was around before the first acorn was formed.
Yes. Hints, Adam.
So,
Hints.
I think that you're right after our discussion today that he was probably, I forgot what his name is because I haven't read as much as you, as many times as you, when you were 14.
25.
But I think that he may be incarnate God of Middle-earth.
Very well could be. But that's it. We got no time to talk about that. Maybe we'll have a special Lord of the Rings episode after you finish audio booking that book with your children to discuss all of the lore.
Tune back in November when it finally...
All right, folks. That's it. That's the show, and we will see you next time on Trigger.